Hey, hi, welcome to my channel DevOps Mela. This is Rohit Singh, and in this video tutorial, we'll talk about Git. So, this is a very important topic, I would say. Git is something would be used by everyone, whoever is working in IT industry. If you are related with, if you are related to an application support, there would be a time wherein you'll get a request to clone this Git repository or get the source code from this particular place. So there wherein you will be required to have a bit of knowledge of Git. And if you are a developer, I would say, so developer in and out, they have to work on Git, whatever check-in they do, whatever codes, bug fix, everything. So a developer should have a knowledge about Git repository and about the DevOps engineers. So DevOps, this is a day in day out job for a DevOps engineer to work on Git. So Git overall, if you ask me, Git is a very important topic. So that's why I thought of picking up Git, because there are people, I've seen people have struggling with Git. Git is not a very big tool. It's very easy to learn and understand. So I thought of coming up with a crash course wherein I'll cover 70 to 80% of commands which is used in Git on day-to-day basis. Okay, so as 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 I said, let's move ahead and let's understand Git in details. Okay, so very first, what is Git system? And it has unusual rich command set that will help you with the high level operations as well as full access to internals. Okay, so what is distributed version control system? Okay, and how Git differs from other version control system what we have it in the market. Okay, so there are two types of version control system in the market which people usually use. The first is the distributed version control, that is all about Git. The second is centralized version control system. So centralized would be SVN, that is one, TFS, which is a Microsoft product. So overall, before Git, SVN, TFS, they were leading the market and they were the one of the known version control tool. But now after 2015, Git is something has overtaken everything, and because of its feature, because it's fast, it's scalable, it provides a distributed version control. So that's why Git is running the market right now. Okay, that is the reason why Microsoft has acquired GitHub, and it has integrated Azure Git with uh, Microsoft DevOps. So that's altogether a different topic. Let's understand what is a distributed version control system first. A distributed version control is a form of version control in which complete code base, including its full history, is mirrored on every developer's computer. So in short, you can clone the entire repository on your local machine. It's like your local machine works as a centralized server for you. So we'll talk about those in details, like when I'll show you the practical, how things behave in practical. So we'll talk more about distributed version control. So what are the benefits? It enables automatic management, branching, merging, speeds up your most operations. Like when you want to push things, so it speeds up most of your operations. Again, it's high level. Whatever I'm saying, it's high level right now. You'll get a clear understanding when we start doing things practically. Okay, so just keep in mind, Git is a distributed version control wherein you can clone your entire repository, remote repository, and work locally. There's no dependency. Even though your remote repository goes down for some reason, you still have the code base, you still can work. Wherein in centralized control version control system, if your centralized server is down, you can't do anything. You're stuck. That's the major difference over here. So these are the three stages in which Git works. And so basically, before I go and move on to this these three stages, let's install Git on your local system first. Okay, and let me clear one more thing. So there are confusion among people like what is Git, what is GitHub, what is GitLab, what is Azure Git. So it's totally different. Okay, Git is different and GitHub is different, GitLab is different, Azure Git is different. In simple words, if I want to put, Git is a version control system that lets you manage and keep track of your source code. Okay, on the other hand, GitHub, GitLab, Azure Git is a cloud-based hosting service that lets you manage Git repository. Simple. So Git is a version control system wherein GitHub, GitLab, Azure Git or other like Bitbucket and those is a cloud-based hosting service that lets you manage your Git repository. Okay, before we go and jump on to this Git stages, let me show you how to install Git on your local computer. Okay, it's very easy. I would be using Windows. Okay, if you guys are using Mac, Linux, so it's straightforward. Okay, so let's do a Git download for Windows. So you get a exe file. You can just do next, 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 and Git will be installed on your computer. So this is the link git-scm.com, wherein you get all the exe file. You can just download the setup from here. I already have Git in my machine, that's why I'm not doing it. Okay, and just do a next, 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 and Git will be installed. So once Git is installed, there are multiple ways you can access Git on your computer. There are Git Bash. If you're familiar with Linux command, Unix based command, then you can use a bash shell, Git bash shell. We have GUI and we have CMD. Okay, so we'll be, for this entire tutorial we'll be using Git bash. Okay, this is very much helpful. Okay, the reason of using Git bash would be like if you so in future if you're switching over from Windows to some other Linux based computer or Linux based system, then this Git, whatever command we run on this Git bash will work there too. But it's totally your decision, like which console you want to use for Git. Okay, so this is how it looks. This you can call it as your working directory. The blinking line you can call it as, name it as your working directory. Okay, so that once in your working directory, if you check in any code, you create any code base, you're doing anything, then you add those code. So when you're adding those code to your Git, that comes in the staging area. That's the second stage. Once your work is all completed, you're ready to go and you want to commit those changes. So what is git add, what is git commit, that's I will cover that in details when we start actually running those commands. So once you do a git commit, it goes to your Git repository. So in our case, we don't I'm not signing into any GitHub, GitLab for now. I'll be using my local computer as my Git repository. Okay, I'll be doing everything on my local computer. In future, if you want to push all your changes to your remote repository, even we can do that. Okay, so for now, these are the set of commands which I would be covering for this entire tutorial. Okay, so let me be very frankly, this covers 70 to 80% of day in day out job in Git. Okay, so if you're working for any corporates, if you're working for any company, or if you're working on Git, these are the commands which you would be using day in day out. Okay, so 70 to 80% of Git commands would be covered over here. You can even crack the beginner interview of Git using all these commands. Okay, so we talked much. Let's quickly jump into what exactly these commands are and how do we use these commands. Okay, so let's start with the demo. So Before start proceeding, let's create a folder that would behave like a Git, a repository folder for us. So let's name it, create a folder on the desktop itself, name it as Git test. So this is the source folder which I'll convert into my Git repository. So in future, if you want to push this code base to any cloud-based GitHub, GitLab, or Azure Git, even that is possible. So this folder is empty right now. Let's open Git Bash. Right click and open Git Bash. So right now, if you see, we are inside uh, desktop Git test, the folder which we have created. So the first command is git initialized, git init. So what exactly this git init is nothing but it will turn an existing directory into a Git repository. So let's run this command, git init. So if you see, the message is initialized empty Git repository. Okay, and it has created a .git folder inside it. So let's go and have a look on this. So we have a .git folder. If you go inside, so these are the configuration file. What you can say it as configuration file. You can say it as repository library for Git. So the Git would be using all this information so that Git can function on your local computer. Okay. So in future, these files are very useful and very important. So in future, if you want to switch to some other computer and you want your Git files to be there on that computer as well, you can just do a lift and shift. Okay, and if you can do a lift and shift, and your entire repository would be copied to other system. But because we have GitLab, GitHub, so we can just clone it. So there's other command that is git clone. So we won't be using git clone because this is like cloning the entire remote repository on your local computer. But keep in your back of your mind. When you do a git clone, it does the initialization in the backend for you. As soon as you do a git clone and you put your username and password information, it will do a git initialization on your computer. So wherever you have that folder, the clone folder, it will have git repository inside it, and you'll find this .git folder as well. Okay, so these are very important configuration what Git has it. So this is what Git init does. Okay, so as of now we have only one branch. This is a default branch which got created, that's a master branch. We'll talk about branching and merging in a bit. Before that, let's talk about git config. Okay, so this is the second important command what we need to understand, that's git config. So git config is to configure user information for all local repositories. Okay, so you can, this is like would be needed when you do a git commit, how your git repository will track things. So git config, which user is working, what is the name or email id, such information is needed by git so that it can track the information for you. Okay, so let's run this command git config. The other command is git config. It will do, there are multiple flags which we can use. For now we'll use global flag. Okay, so global flag, this will help you to set up name you want to attach when you do a commit transaction. So this will attach a name for you. So user dot name, I'll give my name as Rohit Singh. So I want this names to be attached when I'm doing any git commit transaction. Okay, done. I'll add my email ID too. These are two important information git will be look git will require in order to make any changes on your git repository. Okay, again, when you do a clone from any remote repository like GitHub, GitLab, they already have your username and password and everything. So when you do a clone, your configuration information is also cloned from them. So that won't be needed. This is when you're working locally on your local system, and when you do a git initialize for the very first time, at that time you have to do a git config. Okay. Okay, let's add the user email ID as well. That's user.email, and we'll provide an email ID as rohitkasing@test.com. Simple. Let's see if all the information is updated or not. Let's git config -list. So it will list all your configuration information. So this is what we have entered. This Rohit Kumar Singh test and Rohit Kasing is the username. Okay. So these are the two commands: git init, git config, and the third command is git add. Again, very important command. But before we go and see git add, let's add few files over here. Like kind of I'm building some things. Just an example. So let's add few text files. Let's name it as test1. Let's create few copies of it. Let's name it as test2. So whatever I'm doing right now, this is my staging area. I'm inside Git right now, and this is my working directory where I'm making changes. Okay, I got this 4. Imagine this is 4 source yeah, code base. You have written 4 codes. These are your codes. So for now, I just have a simple text file. Okay, so coming to your Git stages. So this is the place where we are right now, the working directory. If you go and quickly check in Git, the very important command git status, like whatever things you're doing in your staging area and in your working directory, that can be tracked using this command. That's git status. Okay, so these are the 4 files, text file, what we have added into a working directory. Not just added, we are working on. So these are the four files which Git has tracked, that we have these untracked files in a working directory, and it is giving an option to add those files. Okay, it's giving a command as well how to add those files. So there are multiple ways of adding those files. So when you do a git add, again that's the third command, when that operation is complete, your file, they go in staging area of Git. Okay, let's quickly add. So there are multiple ways of adding. I'm showing you one of the way. It's git add. You can give the file name test-1.txt. So it's added. If you run the git status again, if you see it's been added. So it's been tracked by Git right now, but there are 3 untracked files. So this way we can add each files one by one, but that is not a valid option, I would say. There's a different way of adding. It's git add, just give a dot and hit enter. So all the files, whatever files are there, it's been tracked right now. Okay, it's in staging area right. Okay, coming back to Git. So what all commands we covered? We covered git init, git config, git add, git commit, git status. Okay, so these are the commands what we have covered till now. Let's talk about git commit too before we move ahead, because we need to commit those changes, whatever changes we have. Okay, let's commit those changes. So git commit is nothing but it records a file snapshot permanent in the version history. Okay, so git commit, what it does, it will, whatever changes, track changes you have in your Git repository, it will update it in the version history permanently. So let's do it. Let's do a git commit. The command is to git commit. -m stands for a message. So you should provide a descriptive message, like whatever commits you have done, you have to provide a descriptive message for that. So let's put a commit like first commit in Git. Okay, so it's been committed. If you run the Git status again, you'll find nothing now. Nothing in no on branch master. So this is the master branch right now. Nothing to commit, working pretty clean. So how do we track what all things we have committed? So there is another command, git log. Let's clear this and do a git log again. So let's understand what exactly it's trying to tell. Okay, first this is a commit message, commit ID. I would say it's a hexadecimal number. So it's a commit ID. It's unique for each commit. The commit ID will differ from whatever commit you do. Okay, and this is a pointer. So Git works on reference pointer. Okay, so again, that is the reason why Git is so fast, because it works on reference. Okay, so the pointer is right now on the master branch. Who did this commit? The commit was done by Rohit Kumar Singh, and this is the email ID. That's why we have updated git config. When the commit was done, that the commit was done on Thursday, December 24th, and the reason of telling you to give a descriptive message, this is the reason. First commit in Git. So by this git log, we can track the things. Okay, very easily. Coming back to, so we have done git init config commit status git log. Okay, there's a graphical representation as well, and if you want to have this commit information in a very good looking graphical window, so you can use this command git k. So when you'll hit enter, a graphical interface page will be opened. Okay, and this is how it looks. So it's a first commit. We have all the files. These are the files name: text1, text2, text3, text4. Again, it has the same information. This is your commit ID, the branch master, first commit in Git. So again, and on the right hand side, you'll see your name and your email ID followed by the date. Okay, so this is the way you can have a graphical representation of your commits and logs. Even that is very good. So it's totally up to you. Okay, let's start with git branch, and then we'll move on to git merge, git rebase, and git pull fetch. Okay. So before moving on to the practical part, let's understand what exactly git branch. So git branch is one of the important part of working with Git. So any commits you make will be made on the branch you're currently checked out. So that's the reason in all the organization they have a Git branching and merging strategy. So what exactly that means? So by default you have a master branch created. Okay, so master branch is the branch where all the golden copy, I would say, the code is kept. Okay, the golden copy of your production. Okay, then we'll have a release branch. So this is a typical branching and merging strategy which I'm talking about. It may differ from organization to organization. Okay, so there would be a release branch using which they will deploy it in the production environment or the staging environment. Then we will have a develop branch wherein typically a developer will deploy it in the development environment. Okay, and we'll have a feature branch wherein if any new feature needs to be added or something, so we'll have a feature branch added. So this is a typical example of a branching and merging strategy in organization. Okay. So let's quickly have a look about the branching and merging strategy in Git. So I'm in the folder. This is a folder created previously, Git test. So I'm in the folder. These are the set of files what we have in master branch. Let's create a new branch right now. Let's see how many branches we have right now. So this is the command git branch -l. We'll list all the branches what we have right now. Okay, and if you do a -a, it does the same. The only difference, it will list the remote branches as well. So we don't have a remote branch right now because we're not connected to any GitHub, GitLab. So we are doing everything locally. Okay. So let's create a branch. The command to create a branch would be git branch. There are multiple ways of creating branch. I'm just giving a straightforward way how to create a branch. So let's git branch, and you can just give the branch name. I'll just name it as develop. It's created. Let's check it. Git branch -l. We have a develop branch right now. Okay. Let's do a switch. Okay. So we have a new branch created based out of master. So in order to switch to that branch, we have again two different commands, that is git switch and git checkout. Okay, we'll talk about in details what is the difference, why do we have two set of commands. So that is for, we'll keep it for later. So let's use git switch. Let's switch it to the newly created branch. Okay, so if I look over here, it's exact the same what we have it in master. Okay, so let's do some changes. Let's add some files, then we'll talk about merge and rebase later. So let's do touch. So this is the command used for creating a file. So I've created a file touch abc, and I created another file touch bcd. So we have two more files, abc and bcd. Let's do a git add. Okay, it's been added. Let's do a commit. Let's give it his name, added two files in develop branch. Okay, so what I did, I've added two files. I've committed those files in my develop branch right now. So I'm in develop branch. If you do a git branch again, so if you see this highlighted in green and the asterisk mark, so that specifies that you are in develop branch. Plus I'm getting over here, so which branch I am, we know it. Okay, so previously I've used git switch to switch over to a different branch. We can do it, we can do a switch using git checkout as well. So git checkout master. Before that, I want to show you git log. So this is the commit which is done. Okay, and we have it in develop branch. The head is pointing, the reference pointer is pointing at the develop branch right now. And sorry, let's do a LL stands for long listing. So these are all Unix based command which I'm running, a bash based command I would say. So all this command will work in very well with your Linux system and your Mac. Okay, so that's why I'm using bash over here, so that it is compatible with everyone, all other operating system. Okay, let's switch and see if my master branch has that changes or not. So git checkout again. I'm in master right now. Let's do a LL. Here we go. We don't have that ABC file and the BCD file what we have created. Let's do a git log. We don't have that history too. Okay, so my master is not aware what kind of changes you have done in the local branches, in your develop branches. So my master is not aware about that. So how do we get those changes in my master branch? So there are different ways. Two very important way would be git merge and git rebase. Okay, so using this both, so this is the command git merge and git rebase. So merging is nothing but you will merge the entire change from the develop branch to the master branch, including history in a chronological order. That is what git merge does. Git rebase does the exact same thing, but it won't maintain the complete history. Okay. So again, when to use git merge and git rebase would be totally your decision. Whether if you want to maintain the complete history, then you have to use git merge, and if you want a clean history, then you can definitely go and use git rebase, but that would be totally the management decision and the company which you're working. And if you're working by your own, so that would be totally your decision. I cannot comment on that. These are the difference I just wanted to showcase. So how do we use git merge? So it's straightforward. The command is git merge, and we can just put the branch name from where you want to merge. So I'll just give it develop. So git merge develop. Here we go. So it's did a fast forward merge. So again, we'll talk about this. This is a bit of advanced what exactly a fast forward merge is. So because this is a crash course, I won't be including that over here, but let's understand this. We got all the files, ABC text and BCD files. It has been merged with the master. Okay. Now if you have a look on the history, git log, here we go. See, it committed. The reference pointer is at the master right now and develop. So it's been added. If we do a long listing now, it's ABC txt, BCD txt. Okay. Git rebase will do the same. So the command is git rebase followed by the branch name. So it won't happen anything right now, but it will do the exact same thing. Okay. So this is about the branching and merging and rebasing. Let's talk about a bit about git pull, push, and fetch. Okay. So pulling, mainly this is used if you're working with the remote repository like GitHub, GitLab. At that time, pulling, pushing, fetching, these terms would be used mainly. But I would definitely show you how we can do this thing locally as well. Okay. But let's understand git pull first. Okay. In perspective of the remote repositories. Okay. Suppose there's a changes in your master branch that is somewhere on GitLab. Okay. So there are frequent changes and you're working on a feature branch locally, but you want those changes on your feature branch as well. Okay. So you do a git pull, like from your remote branch to your local branch. Suppose if you're working on a feature branch and there's a feature branch on your remote repository location as well. So you do a git pull. So what does git pull does? So it will download all the latest changes for you. At the same time, it will commit those changes for you on your local repository. That is what git pull does. On the other hand, git push, if you want to push whatever development you did on your local repository, you want to push it to your remote repository. So you can do you make use of git push. On the other hand, the git fetch. Okay. So before pulling any changes, you want to make sure like what are those changes. I want to make sure what are the changes, whether those changes are required for my development or not. So you do a git fetch. Fetch, what it will do, it will download those latest changes for you, but it won't commit. It will up to you whether you want to commit or not. So that is what git fetch does. So let's do it on my local. I don't have a, as I said, I don't have my remote repository set up right now. So let's do it locally. I have two branches. Let's create one more branch. There's other command to create a branch would be git checkout -b, and we can give it as a branch name as a release. Okay, so this is other way of creating a branch at the same time switching over. Okay, now I was on master previously. Because of this command, I created a release and at the same time switched. Okay, so I'm in release branch right now. So what are the files? I got all these files because master is my default branch. Okay, let's do some changes. Let's create a file touch test 123.txt. I create one more touch test 456.txt. These are the two files. Let's go git commit. Sorry for that, git add, git commit, added, 2 new files. Okay, so it's been added. Let's check git status. Nothing. Git log. Okay, so we have this files, 2 new files. It's in release branch right now. Okay. Let's go into switch. Let's do a git switch to master now. Master branch. Okay. The master one doesn't have those 2 new files now. Okay. Let's pull it this time. So I'm not what I'm doing. I'm pulling the changes from my release branch. Okay. Usually what it happens, how the git pull looks, it git pull remote link. It's mostly the URL. That's a remote URL. Will be the remote URL, and it would be the branch name. This is typical syntax for git pull is. Okay, as if now we don't have any remote, so the command to check is git remote. There's nothing. So by using this command git remote, if there's any origin or upstream setup done on your local repository, or if you have cloned it from your remote repository, those URL links would show over here. So as of now we don't have any. Okay, then too, I'm just showing how we do it locally, how we do the git pull fetch locally. So you can just run git pull dot. So the dot specify your own local repository right now. Okay, followed by the branch. So we wanted to pull it from the release branch. Let me spell it right. See, I have fetched from release, fetch head, pass forward 2 files. Here we go. We have those 2 files, test 1 2 3, test 4 5 6. The similar way fetch push, the push will work for you. Okay, and we have covered git remote as well. Okay, so you guys might have question about like we used fetch sometime, we used we used git checkout, sometime we use git rebase, sorry, not rebase, git switch. So switching is it's a new command, I would say, which git has come up with. So it's a straightforward. So there were confusion. So git switch and git checkout basically on the upper hand, if you'll say, does the same thing. Okay, git switch is straightforward. It will help you to switch to a different branch. Plus you can even create a new branch out of git switch followed by the branch name. So what it will do, it will create a new branch as well as it will help you to switch. The same thing what we did with git checkout previously by giving -b a branch name. Okay, apart from switching and creating branch, git checkout does we used to play around with the indexes also, kind of reset if you have any unmodified files. So it does the automatic reset. So on the upper end, in simple layman language, git switch checkout helps you to switch to a different branch and helps you to create it even helps you to create a different set of branches. Okay, so this is about git checkout, git merge, rebase, pull, push, fetch. And now we'll talk about what is git clone, what is cherry pick, what is reset, stash, tag, and difference. Okay, so let's talk about git clone now. Okay, clone again in simple. If you want to clone any remote repository, and if you want to have a clone copy on your local machine, so git clone is the command which is used. Okay, so I'll just show you the syntax how it looks. It's git clone followed by the remote URL again. Okay, so this is how a git clone works. So it will clone the entire repository and it will create a local copy for you. Okay. Okay, so after branching and merging strategy, let's move on to the very important topic like git cherry pick, like what exactly cherry pick is, what is git reset, what is stash, what are git tags, and we missed git show over here. So let's understand git cherry pick, then I'll cover the rest. Okay, so cherry pick is very important topic of git. uh, so what exactly a cherry pick is, suppose there is a bug in the master branch, so it was working fine before, but there is a bug in the master branch and you want to just cherry pick that particular commit. So it's like from 100 of commits you're just cherry picking one single commit and you're reworking on those. So this is where a cherry pick can be useful. Okay, so there are commits which you want to rework, so you can cherry pick those commit into your local branch. Okay, so this is, so cherry pick is used day in day out by all the developers. So it's kind of an advanced topic, but a very important topic. That's why I'm covering over here. Okay, so let's have a practical understanding of git cherry pick. So we are in a master repository right now. What all files we have? Okay, so we are good. Let's see what all branches we have. Okay, so let's do some changes in master branch. Let's add a new file, name it as cherrypick.txt. I'm just giving a random name. So I'm just creating a new commit so that we can just cherry pick that commit into a release or a develop branch. Commit cherry pick. Hope you guys are familiar with all these commands which I'm running. If not, please look back to my previous videos tutorial. Okay, so if you look, I got a commit cherry picked. Okay, very good. The random name, don't worry about the spellings and everything. Let me move back to some other branch like git switch. Let's move it to develop log. I don't have that file over here. Okay, the cherry pick file. Okay, so let's do a cherry pick. Wait. Okay, so the syntax to cherry pick is git cherry pick followed by the commit sha. Okay, that's a commit id. So we don't have a commit id right now. Let's switch back to master and get the commit id first. This is the commit id which I want to cherry pick. I just copied it. Switch back to my dev branch. Let's develop, and I just run the command git cherry pick followed by the commit id. Here we go. So this commit is cherry picked right now. So I have this file cherrypick.txt. Now whatever changes I want to make it to this file, I can just go ahead and just do the changes. Okay, and I can, if needed, I can re-merge those changes with the master branch. Okay, so that is all about cherry pick. Cherry pick can be used in multiple ways. So this is one of the scenario which I've just explained. The very second very important topic over here is git reset. Reset is something you have to use it very wisely. So we are humans and we tend to make human error. So in that case, if you have done some wrong commit on somewhere on some different branch, and if you want to reset that, so git reset is something would be used. Okay, for example, if you see, these are the, so just think this commit which I did in the develop branch was incorrect, so I want to move back to the previous commit. So in short, I want to remove this. So there are two type of reset. I would name it as soft reset or hard reset. The soft reset will do like it undoes all commits and it preserves changes locally. So soft reset will undo all commits for you, and but it will preserve changes locally. Wherein the hard reset discards all history and changes back to the specified commit. So it will not preserve any history for you, it will discard all changes. So while doing hard commit, you have to be very attentive and you have to be very cautious. Okay, what exactly you're doing, you should have that understanding before doing a hard commit. Okay, so the syntax to do a commit would be same. It's git reset followed by the commit ID. Okay, so this will do a hard reset, a soft reset by default, and if you want to do a hard reset, you have to give a flag hard. This is the way it works. Okay, let me do a reset for you. And there are different way also, like we can do a reset using head, a reference to, you can just write head followed by the caret sign. This will take you one commit back. If you have two caret sign is nothing but on your numpad, on your keyboard, on the top of the numbers you'll see 6 on top of it, it's a caret sign. If I use two caret, then it will take me back to this commit. Okay, or we can just copy the commit ID on which you want to do a reset. Okay, just copy paste, enter. Now if you go back, see where we are, the cherry picked one is gone. This is the commit. Let me clear this. This is the commit, what it is, what we are looking right now. So again, git reset is something you need to recheck twice before running any git reset command. Git stash, again it's a savior. Git stash is something you would be using day in day out. Just imagine you're working on a feature branch, you're working on a new feature, and suddenly there's a bug. So you want to switch it to the different branch and you have to fix that bug. Or if you have, or you wanted to fetch those changes on your local, but you have a uncommit changes right now. So what you will do, you will go and drop all your changes, whatever building like development you were doing. No, that is not an answer. Okay, so git stash is something you can use it when you have uncommit changes, and if you have some important or vital work to do later. Okay, how it works, let's see. So git stash. Okay, let's make a new file. Let's name it as stash so that we come to know that we're making changes for stash. Let's add it. I'm not gonna commit because there are other changes codes which I need to add, so I'm not done yet, but in between I got very important bug fix to do. So I want this working directory to be clear. Okay, I cannot delete my uncommit changes because in future I will need those as well. So we have a very good option in Git, that is Git stash. So we can stash all our uncommitted work and we can come back to it whenever it's needed. Okay, so the easy way to do is you just put git stash, enter. So it has created a stash and your working directory is clear right now, so you can do whatever new changes you want. Okay, and if you want to check what all things are there in stash, you can just run this command git stash list. Okay, so these are the changes what we have. These are the latest one and this is the previous one I might have created. Okay, and if you want to switch back to your working like your previous change, then the command would be git stash pop. Pop is the command and the stash ID. Here we go. Now if you do a git status, we got the stash.txt back. Okay, and in case if you want to delete this, instead of pop, just use drop. It's deleted. If you go and check in the list, it's gone. I have one more stash, let's delete that too. This is how it looks, dropped. Okay, so this stats is again a very important topic and it's very good, you should know. So next is git tag. Tag is again tagging your change. Like you always want, like how we have versions like version 1.1 or 1.2, so those are tags. So similarly you can have tags for your source code as well. Okay, for example, let's see what is the last commit. This is the last commit what I had right now, and I want to tag this as version 1.0. Okay, pretty much easy. Git tag hyphen a stands for annotation. Okay, if you want to give any kind of annotations, so hyphen a, you can name it as version 1.0 over here. Hyphen m if you want to give any message, my first tag kind of something, whatever you like. Okay, so now if you check the log, see that's version 1.0, the tag is given. So whenever you want to switch, you can easily come and switch it from here. Git tag is something you will always prefer. So if you write git tag, you can this is the version you'll get. And in details, if you want to see, then you can make use of git show command also. Okay, let's talk about that too, because we were waiting to talk about that. So git show will give you output metadata and contain changes of a specified commit. Just run git show over here now. See, it gives you the latest commit information, the tag, and the difference between what was the previous and what is the latest. The difference, you get the difference as well for this commit. Same thing what git differ will do. Git differ is something it shows content difference between two branches. Okay, like suppose if you want to differentiate between two branches, like what are the different changes, you can use git diff. So like develop branch is the one, dot dot dot, just three dot with the master branch. You'll see the difference, like what are the difference between these two branches. So that is a place where git differ will be used. Okay, so guys, these are very important commands topics which I have covered for this git. Overall it com completes 80% of your git. The next 20% is bit of advanced topic. Okay, but if you're looking to crack any git interview, or if you're working on git, so this is something would be needed. Okay, please go through each and every video and the series of git video, and if you have any doubts, do put in the comment box. I will be happy to help you. And please like, share, and do subscribe. Okay, if you guys subscribe it, I'll get a motivation that people are watching and they're liking it. I'll be motivated to create more such videos. In future I'm thinking of creating some crash course video for Docker, Kubernetes, and many other DevOps tools. So please do subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Have a great day. Goodbye.